Hey, this is Rick from Mike and Rick Outdoors, and I'm here to tell you about the Garmin inReach Explorer right here. It's a great satellite messenger and two-way messenger, has topo maps on it. But before we go any farther, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as we put out new videos. Spoiler alert, the Garmin inReach Explorer is my favorite satellite messenger. One of the main reasons why is this thing, it is a little bit big, but it has the built-in topo maps. It has a built-in altimeter, a built-in accelerometer, and barometer. So it gives you more accurate information when you're out in the mountains. Versus, say, the Garmin inReach Mini, it does not have those built in. It gets that information from, I guess, the satellite, and it, when it detects you're moving and all that, and finds your altitude. So it's different. This is a lot more accurate. Another thing I really like about it is the Garmin Explorer map. When you go into your computer before you come out into the mountains, you can set your routes, you can set waypoints, you can set all kinds of different trails. And sometimes there's different trails, maybe on the river like today or tomorrow when Mike and I are on the Arkansas River. I wanted to set mileposts or mile markers so we could see where we are. It's a 10-mile float. We might only go 5 miles, but I wanted to see how long it was taking us between the mile markers. The other thing I wanted to show was there's a dam out there. There's some different islands out there. There's a few hazards, and so I wanted to note those. And then also we're going to use the waypoints on it. So tomorrow when we catch fish and we find great holes of water, we're not going to keep that a secret. We're going to tell you. We're going to put a waypoint. You'll have the coordinates of it, the GPS coordinates, and then you'll be able to see it on a map. So I'm going to turn this on. And one thing you have to do, you don't have to do, is you can sync your phone, but you don't have to sync your phone. This is a great standalone device. But if you sync your phone, then you can actually use it to message and see the topo maps. It actually is more convenient because you have a bigger screen, and it's just like texting if you're going to message. But on this device here, and I'll put some screenshots up, there's so many different things on it. You've got preset messages, tracking, check-in, routes, messages, map, weather, etc., SOS. So just a little bit about this device real quick is the power button is here on the top. Then on the bottom, you've got a USB port or a mini USB port, whatever they call it, where you can charge, where you can download what maps or waypoints after you've been in the field, or you can actually upload through that point. So the other buttons here, there's these arrows that move around the screen. You got a plus and minus, like on the map, this zooms in, zooms out. And then you got a plus arrow, and a check button. This is like basically when you want to select something, you use this check button. So that's the buttons. Everything else is on the screen, in the screen. Of course, one of the first things I always want to do is I always want to go to the map. And on the map, you can see your routes if you put them in ahead of time. You can see your waypoints, and if not, it'll show you where it's at. It'll show you the contours, trails, things like that. You can change the map and have an aerial instead of a topo map in there. So there's different ones you can download. So that's I'm going to put some screenshots up here of different routes I've been on, different hikes I've been on. And so you'll see, like, you can go in and you can put your route down, and then you can see, like, a lot of times you're on a trail and maybe you want to take half the trail or a quarter of the trail, or there's like 5 trails and you don't want to take them all. That's what's really great, to put those routes in ahead of time. And then you can say, especially if you've been there, you can say, well, this is a great camping site. This is a great place to have a picnic, a great view. And so you can put those things on before you go out in the field. And then when you're in the field, you can then add waypoints to it. The next great thing about the Garmin inReach Explorer is the two-way messaging. And as long as you have a clear view of the sky, you can message anybody from a phone to other satellite messenger users. You just have to be careful with that. You always want to test between satellite messengers, because if you're not using a Garmin, sometimes it doesn't work. What I've found is that if you initiate the message from the Garmin to another device, say the Bivy Stick or the Somewhere Global Hotspot, or even the SpotX, it will work fine. But if you initiate it from one of those to the Garmin, it doesn't work. I'm not sure quite why, but that's the case. But even if you have all Garmins, you want to be able to know how it works, how long it takes between messages. I've found it's like 3 to 5 minutes to sending and receiving, sometimes faster. You want to make sure you understand your device, and also make sure you have contacts in there. There's certain things you really need to do at home before you hit the field. So like even today when I was at home, I was making sure my contacts were correct. I was making sure my maps were in and my waypoints. A little bit more about the messaging is you can message directly from the Garmin inReach Explorer. You have to arrow down around and select things, and it's a little bit more difficult, but it actually goes pretty quick. But if you sync it to your smartphone, man, it's just like texting, and it's super fast. You have the bigger screen, so you have all the letters and numbers down at the bottom. Same thing as when you're texting on your cell phone. That's what I love about it. I didn't think I was originally going to like syncing to my phone because you got to rely on your battery on your phone, but always make sure you bring a cell phone charger. I charged my battery pack at home, had it all ready to go. I left it at the house. So anyway, I'm going to have to watch my battery life on my phone. But on the river, this time on the river, I chose to bring the Explorer instead of the Mini because I didn't want to be checking my Mini on the river or with my phone and possibly dropping my phone in the water. So I'm going to be using this Explorer today. It's just a better device for longer trips when you're out in the outdoors, but also something like this when you're on a river and you don't want to take a chance of dropping your phone in the water. There's weather available on the Garmin. It's super easy to get to because you just select weather on the main screen, and you can choose basic weather or premium weather, and it's available in any of the subscription plans. There's also tracking, and you can share your location with family and friends, whoever you want to share it with. Besides the tracking, I've left it to last, but it's probably the most important. The SOS function on this, if you flip this right here, and I think I failed to mention it to you first because I said it was a power button and the USB on the bottom, but if you open this right here and push that button for like 3 seconds or more, then the search and rescue teams will come for you. That's probably the best thing, and the number one reason why I actually got the satellite messengers to start with. As I started testing them, and I was using a one-way messenger with the Spot Gen 3, and I went to the Spot X, and as I started to try more of them, I ended up liking the Garmin's best. I kind of figured that would be the case also, but these are my favorite. If you want to really know the truth, because I mostly do day hikes, the Garmin inReach Mini is my favorite because the convenience of the small device along with being able to use it with my phone and see the maps with the big screen and text or message, it's just become my favorite way to use a satellite messenger. I was a little bit surprised too. I thought people would bother me when I'm out in the mountains with messaging, but I let everybody know that every message counts against you as far as your plan, and you only get a certain amount of messages and weather per plan. So if you get the most advanced plan, I'll show you that here on the screen. I think it's unlimited messages and weather. If you get the middle or the bottom plan, then there is a limit to how much, or then you get charged after that. I'm also going to show you what it's like using the cell phone. I'm not going to actually hold my cell phone up and show you, but I'll walk through it and then I'll show you screenshots because the screenshots are way better and you can see it really good on the screen. So first of all, the big screen on the map, you can see it's just a lot bigger area to view a map than the Garmin itself, and it's just much more convenient. It shows the same information, it's just a bigger screen and it's more convenient. On the messaging, again, you can see the numbers at the bottom and letters at the bottom and how easy it is to message, just like the convenience of just like you would do it at home. This is one thing I really like about a lot of these devices, or what I like about the best devices, is when there's convenience involved and something you're used to, instead of trying to figure out a new device and how to work it. When you can use your phone, it makes it a lot more like your phone when you're at home. There's also the share and tracking. You can set tracking up, and I believe on the Garmin's, I may be wrong, but I'll put it on the screen. I believe there's 2 minutes, 5, 10, maybe 30, even 60. Again, I'll have it up on the screen to verify. So just be aware that the more you track, the faster your battery will go down. The weather is really awesome too. It's the weather's easy to get to from your phone or the Garmin, and you just select it. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit. I've had to wait as much as 3 to 5 minutes. It depends on your view of the sky and how many satellites you're in touch with. But it takes a little time, but it gives you good weather, and it's great for when you're out and about, especially at high altitude and there's storms coming in and you don't want to be up above tree line when there's a bad storm coming. It's great to know what's coming your way. There's a compass on it also. I don't actually use the compass, but I do want to get into habit of using it. I even want to practice triangulating where I'm at, even though when you have the Garmin, you don't really need it. And triangulating when you have the Garmin, I think is kind of pointless because you see exactly where you're at. I do want to get used to using a real compass and triangulating. I know something about it, but I want to practice that a bit more. Lastly, the SOS. When you select SOS on your phone, you do have to go to more at the bottom, and then there's the SOS, and then you can select it from there. On the screen itself, you can actually see at the top right that you can tag your waypoints, turn them off or on. You can change the layers or what map is showing. There's a north arrow lock button, so you can lock it so you always turns where you're unlocked, I guess, is turning whichever you're turning, or locked is when north is always up. This also shows your speed, your heading, your elevation, and your coordinates. So it's great when you can see it here. You can also see it on the device itself. And I love this device, and having the convenience of using your cell phone just makes it way better. And just to let you know, we're going to be just north of Salida, Colorado in the Arkansas. We're starting about 10 miles north of Salida. We may go all the way in, which will be 10 miles. If we stop at Big Bend, that's about 5 miles. But I've got all that set up. If for some reason we're flying through, we can go the next 10 miles south of Salida and fish that also. Doubt we're going to do that, but you'll see it when I finish this video. Hey, I wanted to get back on here today because yesterday we floated the river, the Arkansas River, and it was a bust. Didn't catch any fish, but we talked to several fishermen and a really experienced fishermen and guides, and they didn't catch any fish either. So it was just a kind of a strange day. It was 70 degrees this weekend, and they said the fish were real low. One young guy caught a few fish, but they were down around 8-9 feet. So anyway, it happens sometimes. But I told you earlier in the video that I'd show you some waypoints, places where we caught fish, great fishing holes, and I'd show you exactly where they're at. Well, I didn't catch anything, so I have no holes to show you. But what I want to do is I want to go through on the Garmin and show you how to put a waypoint down, what it looks like, and then I'll show you it on my phone also. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Garmin first. So on the Garmin, what you do is you go to maps, and then it shows where you're at. The easiest thing to do is to put a waypoint down where you're currently at. But I'm going to actually try to see if I can put a waypoint down on the river. So I've arrowed over to the river, just a particular place on the river. And let's see if we can put a waypoint down. It says send reference point, location, elevation. So send reference point. Let's try that, see what happens. Send a message. It says this is send a message with the selected location, which is not really a waypoint, but I'm going to do it. So it asked me to put in select the person I'm sending this to, and then I put a test. This is the first time I've actually used this. So the first thing it's wanting to know is who I'm sending it to. I'm glad I'm not figuring this out when I'm needing to get help on the trail. So it looks like you pick the person, and you have to have it in contacts ahead of time. I suppose there might be a way to send it to an email, but I know for sure if you have it in contacts, it's good. So then you go down and hit done, and now, okay, so now it's saying it's sending it to me. It's SMS message, and then it says text. So the message. So now I'm going to put just test. I'm going to put test 1. How about that? It's actually pretty easy to put messages in on the device. It's just not as convenient as the if you use your cell phone. So I've got test 1. I go down and I hit done and send message. So it says to me test 1, and it's sending. So that's one way to do it. So now I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to my location, and I'm going to see about putting a waypoint down. So now this one's saying a waypoint, a location. This one, when I'm on my location, it said. So yeah, the message already went through. I just saw it on my phone. Mark waypoint. So I'm going to pick. It says you can navigate or mark waypoint. So I'm going to mark waypoint. And then here's where it says location information. You can name it. You can pick the type of icon. I'm going to actually pick a fish just because we were fishing yesterday and kind of hard to see on the screen. Maybe because I'm getting older, but man, everything looks smaller. So I'm going to put fish. I'm going to actually rename it. I'm going to put test waypoint. So I told you it's pretty easy to maneuver around here, but it just takes a little time. So I put test waypoint in. Then you got to go down at the bottom, hit done. So it has the fish, test waypoint, it has the coordinates. So I just got back out of it. So that said to mark waypoint. Let's go back out now. We'll go to the waypoints. And yep. So it says test waypoint, and it says I'm 2 feet away from it. So it is right there. I'll have to show you that. Yeah, I'll show it to you. I'll give you a screenshot of it. Now let's do something a little more fun. Let's put this thing back on my backpack, because I don't like to use it that way. If I were out in the mountains, I'd use it that way. But let's go to the Garmin app, and I'll give you screenshots of this also. So there's the map, tracking, compass, all that's bottom, but that's not what I want. There's a flag at the top, and you hit that flag and see now it comes up and says new waypoint. and there's an icon. It has a camera. I'm going to put something slightly different here because it's a different waypoint. Instead of the fish, I'll put, how about a campsite? Let's put a campsite down. Do they have a campsite? I'm sure they do. I will say this, there's more options on the waypoint when you're on your computer than out here. There's a picnic table. Oh, there's a tent. So I'll pick the tent, and I'm gonna put test waypoint test 2. How about that? And see, this is actually doing an autofill, so it even makes it easier. Waypoint test 2. Let's just add it on my smartphone. Well, oh, it only gives you so many characters, so it's going to be waypoint test 2, and has the time, coordinates, distance, all that. So I hit done, and done again, and then if I go hit waypoints, there is now, see, oh, it's wanting to put test 3. It's actually, so it'll if you're putting multiple waypoints down, and it'll autofill for the name of the next one. But I can see on the map, it on my screen here, it actually shows the waypoint. And then if I zoom in, of course you can't really see it very well here because my big blue triangle where it shows I'm at is covering the waypoints, but I can see the waypoints are there. Well, there you have it. It's that easy on the Garmin itself. If you're out and about and you know, maybe your phone's dead and maybe you don't use your phone, it's pretty darn easy to put a waypoint down. I think it's a lot faster to put the waypoint down on your phone, but like say on the river yesterday, I didn't want to use my phone. I didn't want to drop it in the water. So I had protected my phone in a waterproof bag, and I just used the Garmin by itself. But most of the time when I'm hunting or hiking where I'm not on water, I'll just use my phone, and it's much quicker to view it on your phone and to put a waypoint down and send information and send messages and type things in on your phone. Way easier. The convenience is off the charts better. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Garmin inReach Explorer. Please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as we put out new great videos. Thanks for joining me on Mike and Rick Outdoors here in Colorado, and I'll see you outdoors next time.